Vivica, a Fox once called 50, sent the love of her life. But now she's warning young girls to never date him. 2 stories. One woman. So what's the truth? Regret, bitterness, or a past she can't outrun? Let's break it all down. In May 2021, Vivica, a Fox sat down with DJ Vlad for an interview in which she covered a wide range of topics. But one moment in particular grabbed the internet's attention: her candid reflections on her past relationship with 50 Cent. During the conversation, she stunned viewers when she openly confessed something she had never said this clearly before. According to Vivica, the biggest downfall of their romance was how quickly it became public. They moved from private connection to public spectacle almost overnight, and the sudden exposure overwhelmed the relationship. She explained that the love she had and still holds for 50 Cent was real and deep, even calling him the love of her life without hesitation. Yet, she emphasized that the outside world played the largest role in pulling them apart. Too many eyes, too many opinions, too many people involved. If she could rewind time, she said, she would have kept their relationship behind the scenes. 50 Cent, however, remembers things differently. He countered her explanation by saying the real issue wasn't the public attention, it was how she treated him. In his view, Vivica didn't show him the respect he expected, claiming she spoke to him as if he were a child rather than a partner. Despite that perspective, Vivica placed no blame on herself and pointed the finger entirely at external forces. And then fast forward to just last week, this happened.
After their dreams. Don't date 50 Cent and don't date no damn rappers. Years to be able to laugh about it. Right. I had to learn to laugh, not to cry no more. But I did it. Yes.
She later went on to offer advice to her younger self, saying that if she were 17 again, she'd tell herself not to date 50 Cent or rappers at all. That statement caught people's attention because it didn't quite match what she had said only a few years earlier. Before anyone could settle the debate, TMZ caught her outside and asked her to explain the comment. With the internet buzzing over her "don't date rappers" remarks, Vivica clarified that she was simply answering a hypothetical question about what she'd tell her teenage self. She insisted it wasn't a jab at anyone but more of a warning for young girls to be cautious about who they date. She played it cool, reminding everyone that people are free to date whoever they want. She'd just advised being more careful, not going public too quickly, and enjoying life. She even wished the reporter a cheerful holiday as she wrapped up. But when asked if that advice was aimed at anyone in particular, she doubled down and said it was for all the girls, explaining that nowadays people date across all backgrounds anyway. Interestingly, she also complimented 50 Cent, saying she thought his response to the whole situation was great. She tried to keep things lighthearted, but the lack of personal accountability stood out. Just like before, she presented herself as someone who simply made innocent mistakes but didn't cause any real issues. What makes this whole situation even more intriguing is that we now have 2 completely different narratives coming from the same person. This isn't to say 50 Cent was perfect, nor does it mean she had no flaws, but there's clearly a disconnect somewhere. Vivica, a Fox, is over 60 now. I'm 44. Many of those watching, especially people who grew up in the 80s and 90s, are also reaching ages where reflection becomes more common. And sometimes, when life doesn't unfold the way we hoped, it's easier to point fingers at others than confront our own decisions. Take another example. She was once asked to name one of her biggest regrets. Without hesitation, she said it was not having children. When the interviewer asked why, she blamed her busy work schedule and the fact that she never found the right partner. When that window closed, she said, she suddenly found herself with 6 godchildren instead. Here's what's interesting. The BET Awards were on June 24, 2003, in Los Angeles, the night 50 Cent openly expressed how stunning she looked. Vivica was 38 years old then, already near the upper limit of natural childbearing. Meaning, long before she met 50 Cent, She had already reached an age where having children would be difficult. So this regret she carries has nothing to do with him. She met him at 38. The years from 18 to 38 were entirely her own. Years in which she didn't prioritize what men wanted, didn't try to build a long-term partnership, and eventually married a man who was financially unstable and relied on her. Those choices weren't 50 Cent's fault. This is a pattern Vivica A. Fox struggles to address. Many of her regrets were settled long before that relationship even began. She has always been at the center of her own outcomes. People online have weighed in, and one perspective genuinely caught me off guard, a point I hadn't considered before. When she joked about don't date rappers, the irony is that 50 Cent is more successful today than he was back then, while Vivica is now 61, single, and childless. That contrast sparked a conversation. The commenter pointed out something striking. She's warning people not to date 50 Cent from the perspective of who he was in 2003. But he evolved professionally and personally, while she stayed in the same place. That hit hard. It reminded me of a familiar pattern you see in bitter exes, whether it's an ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, or even the stereotypical baby mama. When a relationship ends, some people desperately want the story to be that you fell apart without them while they improved. What they struggle to accept is when the opposite happens, when the man grows, succeeds, diversifies, and becomes better after the breakup. And that's the uncomfortable truth here. This dynamic is one of the reasons many Black men face so many obstacles when it comes to seeing their children after a breakup, especially when the woman moves on unsuccessfully, while the man moves forward and thrives. That contrast often fuels tension. In countless cases, the relationship ends because the woman wanted out, even though the man didn't. But he accepted her decision, let her move on, and tried to rebuild. What often happens next is that her new situation doesn't work out the way she envisioned. Meanwhile, the man finds stability, maybe a new partner, a healthier relationship, or a woman who brings out the best in him. Suddenly, he's living in a nicer home, driving a better car, starting a family again, and flourishing with someone who is more compatible or even more attractive. His life expands while hers stagnates. Eventually, the child begins noticing the difference between mom's environment and dad's. At dad's house, there's space, comfort, order, a home built from renewed success. But at mom's place, things may be much tighter, maybe even worn down, and she can sense the comparison, even if no one says a word. That contrast can breed resentment. She starts thinking, how dare you build a better life without me? How dare you succeed while I'm struggling? How dare you be happier now than you were with me? The bitterness grows, and the man is left confused because, from his point of view, she's the one who ended the relationship. She had choices. She had options. She exercised them. And for a while, those choices served her, until they didn't.
Of course, the internet's going crazy right now about the whole don't date rappers, don't date 50 Cent. You know, where did that come from? Like,
I was asked a question that as a 17-year-old, what would I tell myself? So it's just a pre-warning for my young girls. Here you go, sweetheart.
Thank you so much.
Happy holidays. To be careful.
Yeah.
You know, let me give these. To watch who you date.
right.
You know what I mean? You're free to date whoever you want. But, you know, for myself, I would just be careful. Maybe not go public so fast and just have fun.
As time moves on, many people reach an age where they no longer look or feel the way they once did. The attention they were used to fades, fewer calls, fewer compliments, fewer people trying to get close to them. Suddenly, the world that once seemed eager for their presence no longer reacts the same way. Meanwhile, the man they let go a decade or more earlier has completely transformed. He's not living the life he used to, but they're still stuck repeating the pattern they've been in for years. Vivica A. Fox is a clear example. She was once a major figure in Black Hollywood, a respected actress with real star power. Now, decades later, 50 Cent, the man she once dismissed as immature, dominates that same entertainment space. He may not own the industry like Tyler Perry, but he's powerful enough to hire her if he wants. He didn't just grow as a man. He moved into her lane and surpassed her. And that's a bitter pill for her to swallow, especially after treating him like someone beneath her. She once believed she knew more, that she was more mature and had more direction. But time revealed the opposite. 50 Cent understood far more than she gave him credit for, and now she's left trying to make sense of how she let a man of that caliber slip away, a man who has no interest in going backward. It's obvious she'd like to revisit the relationship. She's hinted at wanting him back, apologized indirectly, and suggested she made mistakes. But the truth is simple, the opportunity is gone. He's 50, and without being ageist, he has never dated a woman in her 60s. Nothing about his dating history suggests he's looking in that direction now. And beyond that, she already pushed him away, showed him disrespect, and he moved on. He built a better life without her. She no longer has leverage of any kind. The outcome is final. A lot of women struggle with this reality. When you let a good man go and he thrives without you, you just have to accept it. In life and in love, people miss opportunities. Sports fans know this well. Teams pass on great draft picks all the time. I'm a Sacramento Kings fan. Trust me, we've missed out on nearly every superstar imaginable. We could have had Steph Curry. We could have had Luka Doncic. But we didn't. And those mistakes are on us. The same goes for relationships. Vivica didn't miss out because of 50 Cent. She missed out because of her own choices. Blaming outside forces, the media, going public too fast, circumstances, is easier than admitting that she mishandled a man who genuinely cared for her. Now, at 60, when her career doesn't hold the same shine and opportunities aren't what they used to be, she directs her frustration toward him.
But why?
Because he refused to tolerate disrespect? Because he refused to bend to her mistreatment?
Partner, I want someone that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That's not intimidated by who and what I am.
Yes.
That likes to travel.
Yeah.
Going to let me go shopping.
Yeah. Yes.
I feel like you just spoke it into existence.
I hope so, girlfriend.
I feel like you just
so
spoke.
you got, and I'm taking applications.
Oh,
so
you know,
if you got a friend.
Okay.
I'm good.
We'll be all.
And I don't discriminate. He can be. I'm not against different nationalities. Then you know that too.
I've noticed a particular attitude in certain women, not all, but a very specific subset, that shows up repeatedly in modern dating. It's an energy built on entitlement, unchecked ego, and the assumption that emotional labor is a one-way street. The attitude goes like this. If you don't accept the behavior they dish out, they resent you for it. If you don't quietly tolerate their moods, their disrespect, their inconsistency, or their chaos, suddenly you're too sensitive, not a real man, or unable to handle a strong woman. Meanwhile, these same women would never tolerate that attitude coming from a man. If a man mirrored even 10% of the behavior they display, they would label him toxic, controlling, narcissistic, or emotionally unstable. The double standard is so obvious that it's almost comical. They want unconditional patience from men, but offer almost none in return. They demand empathy while giving entitlement. They want loyalty while bringing volatility. They want leadership from men but refuse to bring cooperation. What makes it even more interesting is how this dynamic shifts when the man involved has status, influence, or options. Because when a man is respected, busy, accomplished, and socially desired, the whole game changes. He doesn't have to tolerate nonsense, and women who are used to being chased often can't handle that. Their resentment gets louder the moment they realize that this man isn't stuck, isn't scared to be alone, and isn't dependent on their validation. A man with options is a man who can simply walk away, and that possibility alone destabilizes women who rely on their attitude as leverage. They're used to men competing for them, sacrificing for them, and bending for them. But a man with options doesn't bend, he selects. He evaluates. And he won't hesitate to leave if the energy is off. That's where the resentment really kicks in, because some women believe their presence alone should be enough reason for a man to tolerate chaos. They believe their looks or personality entitle them to a level of patience they don't offer in return. Here's the truth that many don't want to hear. If you don't want a man with options, stop dating men who have them. It really is that simple. If you want a man who will put up with anything you throw at him, then date a man who has to. Date a man whose position in life gives him no choice but to tolerate certain behaviors because he fears losing the relationship. Date a man who doesn't have the freedom to say no. But what happens more often is that women want the lifestyle, the prestige, the clout, and the financial stability of a high-value man, while expecting him to absorb behavior that even an average man with no money wouldn't accept. This brings us back to Vivica. Vivica A. Fox is a talented actress, a successful woman, and someone with decades in the entertainment industry. No one is denying her accomplishments. But when it comes to dating, the dynamic she describes publicly always seem to point the blame outward, toward men, toward the dating pool, toward these new guys, toward generational differences, anything except her own behavior or expectations. The reality is simple. Vivica could absolutely date a regular man. She could meet a hardworking, everyday guy who doesn't care about Hollywood, doesn't care about clout, and doesn't care about age. There are plenty of men who would be thrilled to have a woman with her success and experience. But the key issue is whether any of these men are willing to tolerate her personality as it currently stands. And that's where things become complicated. People forget that dating isn't about who you could physically get. It's about who is willing to stay, who is willing to build, who is willing to share peace, not chaos. Vivica has made comments about being open to dating anyone, even saying, "If white guys want me, I'll date them too." She isn't restricting her options racially. She isn't limiting her dating pool by background. But the problem isn't the men, it's the compatibility. Men of all backgrounds can sense underlying attitude, defensiveness, or emotional volatility. Whether the man is black, white, Latino, or anything else, he is going to evaluate the experience of being with that woman. And if the experience feels draining, combative, or disrespectful, he's going to move on, especially if he has options. Women often say men should step up, but overlook the fact that men today are stepping up for themselves. They're choosing peace. They're choosing cooperation. They're choosing emotional safety. And a man who has done the work to build his life to a high level isn't going to hand the keys to someone who brings more stress than stability. So what do I think? I think the dating landscape has changed. The old power imbalance, where women were the prize and men had to chase at all costs, is shifting. Men have found their self-worth. They've learned that silence is not strength, but boundaries are. They've realized that walking away is sometimes the healthiest option, especially when dealing with someone who doesn't self-reflect. Vivica's issue isn't her age or her race or her success. It's that men are no longer signing up for personalities that bring more heat than harmony. The marketplace has adjusted, and the women who refuse to adjust with it are the ones struggling the most. And with that, you're back again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk.